Well, Mark, by next Friday, the 737 MAX will have been grounded completely for 9 months. Some experts say it could see next March, if it goes that far in terms of the grounding, it will have been a year. And the FAA says, in what's said again this week, it will not be rushed in terms of the recertification. In Renton, Boeing's 737 factory continues to crank out MAX jets, and the workforce on the flight line remains busy getting them ready to fly. These days, a single trip to a giant parking lot at Moses Lake. The company remains optimistic that the grounding will be lifted in January, and today and tomorrow has dozens of airline executives, mechanics, flight attendants, what they call stakeholders in town, being briefed on software fixes and training to prevent another crash. The company says it's held 20 other meetings like this around the world involving some 1,600 participants. But others think January is optimistic. Safety consultant and former FAA and NTSB official Alan Deal on CNBC.
And it's going to depend on the reaction of the stakeholders, the unions, the airlines, other regulatory authorities.
Now, Alan Deal is saying, referring specifically to the pilot training part of this, which is another piece that the FAA will need to be signing off on. How are airlines in the U.S. who already have MAXs in their feet, like American and Southwest, responding to this? They have already taken the MAX off their schedule into the early part of March. So there's a lot more that still has to happen tonight as Boeing keeps trying to push forward.